Hey guys, so in this video we're going to give spells a little break, and instead I want to optimize our take damage and apply damage functions, because at the moment they are quite messy, but my biggest issue with them is that no matter how we apply damage, if it's the melee attack or ranged attack or ability, we are always playing the sound from the weapon, and we always doing the same hit effects like spawning blood, spawning the decal, or doing the hit reaction. And obviously on different spells and abilities or different types of attacks we want to have a different hit effects. So that's what we're going to change. And just to show you what I mean is that we created a poison cloud in a previous video. So if I equip it and then equip, for example, this 100 weapon and cast it, you probably noticed as well that when it hits these enemies, it's playing the sound that I have on the weapon, and there is a blood being spawned in the middle of this poison cloud, which is not good, and there is probably a decal being applied somewhere as well on some position. So, as I said, not very optimal, and we want to do custom sounds and custom hit effects on different abilities. So that's what we're going to do. This video probably won't be easy, but trust me, when we finish it, it's going to be much easier to use those functions, edit them, and also it's just going to be so worth it. So, first thing that we need to do is let's go to combat component, and we do have this apply damage function. So as you can see, this is an absolute mess. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to build a new one down here, and then we're going to transfer everything that we need to do. So basically with the new one, what we can do is get this damage type array. We'll still need to do that. So find how much damage we have on the player, and we're going to do for each loop. So this is looping all the different damage types, and we're going to create new local variable. So we do have total damage, but I also want to create an array with how much damage we are causing with which damage type. So this one will be local, I can just call it damage, and we will change the type to stats enumerator. So stats enumerator, and then we're going to change it into map array. And the second variable will be float. So it will be what damage type and how much damage. Compile and save. And then we're going to get it, and we're going to add to it. Yes, we do have a stats component somewhere that we're getting the damage from. Or we're getting it from current stat. Yeah, so we will get this current stats. We can get it as a variable because we have it as an input. So let's get current stats. This one here. And we're going to find this array element, which is the type of damage, break it open, and we will add the max stat because that's where it's saved. Array element will go here, and this is what we're adding. So this local damage will keep all the damage types, but we also don't want to keep the damage type if it's not greater than 0. So we're going to first check if this is greater than 0 and do branch. And only when it's true we're going to add to that array. And we're also keeping the total damage, which we have set up in the fireball section. This is if we want to convert it. So this pretty much will be the same. We'll just copy this and paste it, and this is getting the local total damage, adding to it this max stat, and saving it to total damage. Alright, so this is how we calculate all the damage. Before this, what we need to do is this will just start the function. So I'll leave it here for now, then we'll connect it later just so we know if we need to copy something from here. Now, this will be doing it if it's breakable box or if it's enemy, it will still calculate all this damage and create the array for us. Then on completed, we will do one branch and drag from the completed. And here we want to get hit result. So hit result as a variable. That's the input from the function. break it open, and we want to check if this hit actor has tag, and this will be the breakables, breakables. So if it's the breakable that we hit, like breakable box or something, because then we want to apply just regular apply damage function. So if it's true, we're going to copy this part that we have here, apply point damage. Just get the owner and this node and paste it. I will go to true. And then here, hit from direction. Okay, so we can get hit result again. We will connect it to hit info. Damaged actor is the hit actor, so we need to break it open again. And here we will do hit actor. Base damage. We can actually connect the local total damage. That's the sum of actual total damage. Then you can, inside the box, you can also check if the damage is greater than something, because if it causes 1 damage, maybe we don't want to break the box. So later on we can set that up as well, but we already have it that any damage caused to the box will break it. So connect that. Hit from direction is impact point, and event instigator we don't need, or damage type class. You can close this, and this is the first part done. If it's not breakable, that means it's an enemy. We're going to, from hit actor, get component by class, and this will be stats component. We're going to check if it's valid, just in case, because I know there's been some error if you didn't check the validity. And if it's valid, we want to take damage, which is our function that we have set up, take damage. And this time, on a take damage, instead of doing what we've been doing before, that we are looping and applying damage for each single damage type, and then in the end, when the attack is finished, we basically have to call these reset hit events. We're not going to do that anymore, because we do have all damage stored in this map array. So we're going to pass that map array. On this take damage function, we're going to create new input, and this one will be, we already have damage, so this one will be what we can call it, to damage, all damage types, all damage, I don't know. Or we can call it damage. Do we actually need this one? That's a total damage. So this one will be total damage, which will be sum of all damages, and this one will be the array of damages, so that will be just damage. And again, we need to change it to stats, map array, and then float. Right, and now we can connect this local damage. Effects, we need to get effects as a variable. Current stats, we need to just get current stats as variable again. This is all from the input of the function. So get current stats, get hit, we call it hit result, so that is the hit info. Damage causer is, let me check, it's the owner, right? Take damage, damage causer is, yeah, damage causer. So copy it, damage causer, that is the variable. Hit location, we actually don't need this, we can remove it, because we do have hit result and it's inside the hit result, so we're passing this for no reason. So hit location we will remove. That will give us some errors, so don't compile just yet. Damage type, this is only when we're setting it from the ability, when we want to convert it. So that will be get convert damage type, and we'll connect it. Total damage, so all these variables will be connected here. Local total damage will be here, and target, this needs to be the actor that we have hit, so that one will be, this is stats, sorry, we need to get combat here, combat component, and that one needs to go to take damage. And one more thing we need to do, I haven't done the multiplier, so we also want to, where are we? Here we want to multiply this stat, so move this max stat multiply by damage multiplier, which is again the input from the function. So get damage multiplier and connect that. Otherwise we will be doing full damage. And damage multiplier this one here. So local total max stat, damage multiplier, local total damage, and total damage. Cool. So this is correct now. And this is pretty much it. So as you can see, this is much simpler function. We don't really need to do anything else here. And instead of this, we do have this. Okay, so now we can just hold Alt and disconnect all of this. I'm not sure if you can right click and disconnect all. I'm just going to do it one by one and then transfer it down here. And just connect it. Nothing else, everything else we have as a variable, so we can delete this first part. Let me just have a look if we forgot something. This is find in current stats. Find damage multiplier, total damage. Cool. Delete. Now this first function is simplified and optimized. Compile and save. Let's click on the first hit location. So this will be now in the take damage. That's what we're going to handle now. So hit location. Just remove it from now as a variable. I don't think we will need it. If so, we will connect it later. First thing, take damage. Okay, where to start? Let me have a look so I don't mess it up. So get gameplay tags, we're going to leave here. It's the same thing. Then we'll do branch and check if you do have any status. And if we have status, it will be the same as here. So this will go to this part, party event, and stun just continues. Then we're going to calculate critical chance, which will be the same thing. Calculate critical chance, double click on it, and it will open up this event. We can actually make it a function, and we don't need this reset that we have set up before, which is do once, delete it, connect it here, and then select all of this, and we're going to right click and collapse to function. All right, now you need to compile and save so we can rename it, and now we will do calculate critical hit chance without the 1. All right, delete it from here, go to take damage, and we're going to replace it, or we already have it here. We can just right click and refresh. Okay, we don't need the current stats 1, we'll just need current stats. And what else do we have here? This we need to connect inside, and then this will tell us and set if it was a critical hit or if it wasn't, and damage multiplier. So this is pretty much the same. Go back, and now we're calculating the critical hits chance. Now we'll do one more branch. These I'll just disconnect, and let's move everything else. Hold shift, select it, and just move it, including this. Now we'll do branch, and we need to check if we want to convert the damage. So if this damage type, we can get it as variable, this damage type. So get damage type, and if it equals default, just going to continue normally. And if it's not, then we will just do simpler damage calculation function. So now if this is a default, then what we want to do is we want to get this damage that we created, this array here, and we're going to go to local variables. Sorry, it's not in local variables, just get damage as a variable. Get damage, and we're going to do keys and values. I'll do values before that because we need to do for loop from keys. So this will go to true. And now we'll do for each loop from the keys. Here we will do branch. Actually, I don't think we need to do branch here because I wanted to check if this is not equal 0, but we're not adding to damage if it was 0. So here we can just do calculate crit damage, which we had after crit chance, this one here, disconnect, disconnect, and move it. So we're going to basically calculate critical damage for each damage type, and we will instead get from here, copy on this index, that is the damage for that damage type, and we will connect it to calculate crit damage. Open it up. This is basically just doing the crit multiplier and doing the final damage if it was a crit. And then we also need to do this calculate damage reduction. So disconnect it from here. We need to do it for each damage type. This is important because if it's fire damage, it needs to go from fire resistance. That's what this does. Or if it's a melee damage or physical damage, sorry, it's going from armor and so on. So it will calculate the reduction for each. Damage is going to be this final damage, and damage type needs to be this one here. Know the damage type from the function. And then inside, this function is the same. Only thing I want to do is I want to remove this minus, because we're not removing it just yet and we're saving it in the map array, so we don't want to have negative values. So we'll just remove it and connect it, go back, and now we have calculated crit damage, damage reduction, so now we can add it back to the array. So we're going to create new damage array from this. We can just drag off from the damage and do promote to, we can do local variable, and this one will be local damage. Now we can delete it from here and we will get it. And do we need to check if it's more than 0? No, it should be 0. It shouldn't be 0, sorry. So let's just drag from it and add. And we will add this array element, which is the stat. And we will add final damage to here. So this is basically for each damage type that we have saved in that array. It will calculate crit damage if it was a crit, and calculate damage reduction for each one, and then adds it back to the array, the local one. So we now have all the improved or reduced damage inside. And also we want to save it in a total damage. So we want to create the total damage here as well, because we want to later block the total damage as well. We don't want to have each separate one, so we want to keep the total number. Will probably make sense later. So we do have this local final damage, we can get it, and we're going to add to it this final damage and then set it. So this will just be the sum of all of them. All right, and now we need to do also false branch. So if we were supposed to convert all of this to one type of damage, on that we can just calculate the crit damage and damage reduction. So we can get these two, copy it, paste it, And remember, on the input we do have a total damage, like the total number that we need to convert. So we're going to get total damage, not this local final damage, but total damage. Connect it, and then that will increase it or decrease it. If it's some crit damage, it won't decrease, but it will increase if we score the crit, and that will go to damage reduction. Damage type is now this convert damage type, so this one here. So we'll get damage type. This one probably should be called convert damage type, otherwise it can be quite confusing. So this one will be convert, so that's when we need to convert it to ability damage, just one type. And from that we have a final damage, which will also set to this one of the false branch. And then we can also add it to this one. So local damage, add, and this time there will be only one stat, which will be this current damage type, and local final damage will go here. Okay, so if it's true, if it's the default, we don't need to convert it, so we need all damage types. If it's false, if we are converting it to one damage type, we will convert it, calculate it, and add it. Now we do have this array and local final damage. So what we want to do after is we do have this get gameplay tags. So get owner, get gameplay tags, and let's copy one branch, so these three, paste it. It's pasting it here. This is like that. Okay, so get owner, basically get gameplay tags, go here, branch. This will go from the completed, it will go here as well. So when this array is finished, and then we need to check if we are blocking. That's what we are doing here. First I want to do magic block, because that one has one less check. This one we will have to check also if we are correct angle. So we will do magic block first, because if it's magic block is less checking. If it's not magic block, then we will go to actually check if it's a regular block. Okay, so we need to do hashtag. My god, this seems like this is going to be very confusing even on the video. So from gameplay tags, we're going to check magic blocking. Are we magic blocking? Yes. Then we're going to do calculate what we were doing here. Stop weapon sound and calculate magic block damage. Copy it. Alright, stop weapon sound, calculate magic block damage. Hit location, we can just get hit info. We'll break it open and we'll connect what we had connected before. Impact point, I think, or location, impact point. We will close this, and this is the magic block. And then false, we'll do another branch. And this time we need to check if we're regular blocking. So this one we will move on the bottom. And we got it somewhere here, can block. Why do we have to... Oh no, this is magic blocking. Can block already has if we are blocking. So this one can block. Copy it. Paste it back here. This one needs to go from the gameplay tags. And enemy is the damage causer. So damage causer. Okay, so are we magic blocking? False. Then we're going to can we do regular block? And if it's true, we're doing this one, calculate block damage and stop weapon sound. Okay, since from both of these we're doing stop weapon sound, we can just delete it from here. Connect it. And then we will do stop weapon sound. But I think stop weapon sound was meant to go from, yeah, damage causer and combat component of theirs. So paste it on top of here, damage causer, get component by class, combat component, and that's where we're stopping the sound. It's the weapon sound, so it doesn't play if we hit something. And this one can go here as well, like that. And this is where it will end. Now, calculate magic block damage. Let's change that as well. So calculate magic block damage. We do have this play block event. Double click on it. This will open this parry block event, which is again we're resetting and stuff. So delete this part, connect it, and here we're just selecting what we're going to play. That is all good. Weapon and shield, we can just pack it into another function and right click and collapse to function. There we go. And this one, if you compile and save, this one will be parry block event. And double click on it. Here just the hit location is not connected, so we need to connect it to spawn emitter at location, to location. Rest of it I think is the same. Compile, no errors anymore. And now if we go back to where we take damage and calculate magic block damage, we got this as a function, parry block event. Alright, parry block event is done. Then we go to back to take damage and we go to this second one, which is calculate block damage, not magic block damage. Hit location, we'll connect it, and here block power multiplier, so blocking power. This is actually block react, we don't need to do here because we're doing it inside. So delete this and parry block event. Inside parry block event we're basically switching on combat type and then doing block react. Cool. So go back one more time. So this is all the blocking done. And then of the false, after we're doing the block, we want to also stop weapon sound. We want to do that everywhere. So when we hit something, we don't want to continue with the weapon sound because we hit something, so weapons slow down as well. So stop weapon sound. Again, we need to do it from this combat component of the damage causer because that is the one that is playing the sound. And after we need to get one more time, we will get this local variable. This time we're going to actually apply damage. So we're going to get local damage and we will get keys. And before that, values. Keys and values. From the keys, we'll do for each loop. And we need to now this time do this, which is set damage indicator and modify current stat health. So Control X, paste it here. And now for each damage type, we're basically going to show damage indicator and modify health. So here, this will be this damage type. Is critical hit we have set in the beginning of the function. If it was a critical hit, now it's going to be critical for the whole attack, which makes more sense because before it could be for just one damage type, and that didn't make sense to me. Or actually maybe it wasn't because we were resetting it in the end, but this is just an easier way of doing it. Now if it's a critical hit, all of the damage type in that one hit will be critical. And local final damage, no, we need to get from the values a copy on this index, and that will be the damage. Same thing here, reduce health by that. Actually, this is a positive value, so we need to multiply this by -1. So multiply -1 damage and this value. Okay, both of them. compile and save. Now, so basically for all the damage types that we added, we're going to be reducing health and spawning the damage indicator, and then only on completed, we're going to play hit events, only one type of hit events. So first, we still need to do a functions that we left out, and that is calculate hit chance, I think. Were we not calculating the hit chance? Play hit event. Where we are calculating effect chance? Inside here. Yeah, calculate effect chance we were doing inside this hit effect. So first, what we're going to do is go back, and on completed, we're going to calculate effect chance. Should have it in the... Alright, sorry, because it's a condition component, so we need to get owner, get component by class again, and this one will be conditions component, and calculate effect chance. This is for all the effects that we can apply. And again, this will be done only once now. And we will connect effects. So get effects as a variable. And hit actor, we need to, from the owner, that is the one that we have hit. So that is the one that is calculating all this damage. Alright, that's calculate effect chance. And after that, we want to do one more thing. We don't want to play these hit events, which we're skipping for now. Yeah, this is what we have, this whole event. We will change that as well. For now, let's go back. And now it will come to the point where I want to switch on different attack types. So if you're doing abilities, we will do different effects. If you're doing melee damage, we will do different effect, range damage, and so on. Best thing to set it up would be go to enumerators, and we do have abilities, and we do have a default one which will be from normal melee attacks because that's how it's set up, melee. And if we want to have a ranged attacks, we're going to add one more to abilities, which will just be ranged attack. And then we're also going to add new one which will be magic attack. So we're adding it to abilities, but we can just add this enumerator that we're already passing through the apply damage and then just switch on this. So that's why I'm adding ranged attack and magic attack. And now back in the combat component in take damage, let's go to this input. We're going to create a new one, and this one will be ability. And this one will be type abilities. Or we can call it attack type or something, but I'll just leave it ability because it's abilities enumerator. And now since we passed it in the input, we can get it here. So get ability, and then we're going to switch on ability. Okay. Now if it's default, so that's a regular attack, we haven't changed this, it's not an ability, then we will just do everything that we've been doing on a melee attack. So we will basically get this play hit event, double click on it, and then again we want to remove this. We don't want to be doing this reset hit events anywhere. You want to remove that as well. We won't actually need to do it. And here as well, remove all the do ones. And then this one, remove. And in display hit event, I'm going to rename this to play melee hit event. And here we're spawning the decal, then fading it out, spawning the blood effect, and playing the sound. We can leave that there, but then I'll calculate effect chance. I'm going to remove from here. And then this whole thing, which is the calculate the direction from which we hit so we can play the hit react, I'm going to pack it into function as well. So select all of this, select all of that, right click, collapse to function, and this one will be calculate react direction. And we will do it here. So calculate react, what is this self? That was meant to be damage causer. So we'll rename it damage causer. And open it up. Let's check if everything is fine. Yes, this seems to be all good. And then play hit react. Okay. So this is what we're going to be doing only when we hit with melee. And now compile and save. Go back to take damage. We have quite a lot of functions open. But basically now, if it's default, we want to do play melee hit event. Hit info, we will get hit info or hit result, or what we're calling it here, hit info. Damage causer is the damage causer, so get damage causer. And effects, we don't need anymore in this. So again, open the function and remove the effects as well, because we're not using it in this one anymore. We're doing it before. And now this one can be the same for Whirlwind because it's a melee ability. So we want to pretty much do the same thing, apply decal, blood and stuff. Same thing I'm going to do for Charge if you have that ability. Stoneform we don't need to connect because Stoneform will never happen in a take damage. It's not damaging function. Same thing for Infuse Fire. Rapid Fire we should create new event that will be for ranged. So we can just get this play. This is not a function, so I'm going to create a function from this. Again, I'm going to right click, collapse to function. Okay, then you need to compile and save before you can rename it, and then play melee head event. Again, we do have two damage causers here, so I'm going to remove the second one, and then location. Well, let me check. I need to go Control Z because I don't know what it. Yeah, I don't know what I've done. Sorry, I don't know if you have the location connected to the decal. So no, there wasn't. And damage causer, spawn sound. Damage causer is only calculate direction. Okay. So right click, collapse to function again. I'm sorry for this. Play melee hit event. Open it up. I'll just go to this. Target is from the damage causer. Damage causer 1 we can remove. Compile and save. Hit info needs to be connected here as well. Alright, that's melee hit event, and now we can duplicate it. So Control and D, and this one will be ranged hit event. And in ranged hit event, I don't want to, for example, spawn this decal, so I'm going to delete it. Fade out, delete. And blood, we can change the blood effect for when you hit with the ranged. So when you hit with the arrow, you can change it if you like. I'm going to leave it the same because I don't want to create a different one. And spawn sound. This probably can still go from the weapon, that's fine. And calculate react direction, that can stay as well. So this can be pretty much the same. Now when we go back to take, we can do play ranged hit event. And this one will be from rapid fire because it's hitting with the arrows. Evade, it's hitting with the arrows. Rain of arrows, yeah, same thing. And ranged attack. That will go here. And then One more thing, we should have probably removed this calculate hit direction. I'm going to remove it from here and also from ranged one, because we need to do it on the ends here. Calculate react direction, and we can connect it where we need to connect it from here and here. And then for the abilities, so if you have Fireball, for example, you can set up play different sound. So I don't have a sound at the moment, but I think there is some default explosion maybe. Let's check explosion. Okay, yeah, so this explosion, that will play on Fireball. Poison Cloud, I won't play anything for now. Later on you can play like, I don't know, coughing enemies. You can get it from the enemy, you can save some sound there for like coughing, or you can save it in the abilities, because we do have ability now here. And then you can play whatever you want. For magic attack, I still want to play weapon sound, but I don't want to apply blood effect or decal, so I just want to do this sound. So I'll copy this, go back, paste it, and this one will be on magic attack we're playing. So now we can switch on different abilities, anything you want, all the hit effects. And since we do have this array and we're only doing it on completed, it will always play only once. So this should all work. And maybe I'm forgetting one more thing. Ah, yeah, we need to, on all of these, we need to check if the character has not died. So we'll do branch, and we do have get component by class stats component somewhere. Or just get this, get component by class stats component. Change it, stats component, and then get current stat, health, and if health is less or equal 0, connect it to this branch. And we need to call from the owner, get owner, we will call death event. So that will execute something that we have in the NPC. That will be death. And don't forget to connect it from all of these. So from this explosion, from this one, and pretty much from poison cloud, Stormform, infuse fire, those not the damaging abilities don't need to be there. Everything else needs to follow. And here, otherwise character won't be able to die. And now one more thing we need to do is, what is this? Target. This one needs to have an owner. So get owner. And if you go to apply damage function, close all the tabs. Here we do have, we're not actually passing the ability. So we need to pass it here as well, which will be ability. Type abilities, it's already set, and then we will get it, get ability. And we will pass it. Cool, so it will be default on all of the attacks at the moment. If you want to change it, so we need to change it in few places. So for example, on a fireball, we go to blueprints, actors, and we do have a fireball. And then when we apply damage, here ability should be, ability is here, get ability, that should be the fireball. So it will do different hit effects. On magic attack, that will be in magic projectile. So open that up as well. And here when we applying the damage, we will change it to magic attack. Then on the arrows, don't have arrows here, we do have them in items and base arrow. Find base arrow. And when we taking damage, it's going to be ranged attack. And so on. And then for the abilities, most of them are in the ability component. So charge and stuff like that, we're not changing. Charge, whirlwind, we don't have to change. Infuse fire, don't have to change. Rapid fire, that's hitting with the arrows, so that's already set up. Evade, hitting with the arrows. Rain of arrows. Rain of arrows is a little bit different. It's applying damage when these arrows hit, so that should be in the event graph. Is receive particle data. Here apply damage, we're going to do ranged attack. Or you can do custom one for rain of arrows if you like. So that would be rain of arrows. And then I think one more thing that's ranged. Let me go back to these abilities. Fireball, I changed. So that's pretty much it. Toxic Cloud. So Toxic Cloud is the last one that's applying damage with this Poison Cloud tick. And here we're going to change it to Poison Cloud. Or you can do this current Poison Cloud. That will be better in case it changes. And now, basically, let me try on a Fireball. So I equip this 200 weapon, just so we can see it's working. And then when I hit with the Fireball, there should be explosion. There we go. So there is no weapon, there is no blood, there is no decal spawning or anything. This is actual explosion from the Fireball. So you can customize it as well. Right. And we can probably also... Okay, so we have calculate react direction. Here I didn't connect something, damage causer somewhere. Calculate react direction, that will be in take damage. Yeah, here we'll get damage causer we have here. So damage causer, and this react we can probably have on the Fireball as well. So I can connect the Fireball. We do have it in the react. So people are reacting, and that's pretty much it. So now one more test with the Poison Cloud, for example. So again, I'll do 200 weapon. Now Poison Cloud shouldn't have any sound because I didn't set it to anything. So abilities, Poison Clouds. Cast it. There we go. So no sound, you can set it to whatever you want when you hit them. And if you want to set ability sounds, I wasn't doing that for all of them. So when the Fireball is burning, you can set it up yourself. That's pretty easy. That's just when you actually cast the ability. So in the ability component, when you create Fireball or Poison Cloud, you can set the sound to something, you know, so it could be heard. But I think I'll be just adding all the sounds together in one video because it's just a lot of work to do it in each one for every ability. So cool. I know this video was quite difficult and it wasn't very easy to set up, but like now we have it much better. It's easier to do sounds and stuff like that. And as you can see, in just generally this apply damage and calculate damage is just, everything is much easier. And one more thing I forgot is that at the moment the damage from debuffs is showing as negative value. So to fix that, we just need to go to condition component. And here we do have this burn and poison functions. And it's because in this calculate damage reduction, we removed that multiplied by -1. So we need to add it here. So just multiply by -1 and add it to modify current stat and set damage indicator. And then we need to do the same thing in poison. So here, just multiply by -1 and add it. And also if you have more conditions, you need to do it there as well. Compile and save, and this should work now. So in the next video we can continue with the spells probably. So I'll see you then. Bye!